The recording right now, and Ryan Stewart with Happy State Bank is here, and he's going to give us a presentation or talk to us for a few minutes. The camera's over there in the corner, so you can talk. Okay, yeah, this is perfect. So we are recording.
This is morning, all the Zoom people. Morning, Maria.
Hi, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm Ryan Stewart with Happy State Bank, like I said. And yes, like he said, I am Tasha's brother. Good, bad, hold against me, I don't know. I'll be selling blackmail pictures and stories later in the parking lot. So. I'm very fortunate that we've actually been able to work together. Not that we were playing it, but it's been a great ride. So thanks for having me this morning. I'm super excited to talk to you guys. So I'm a mortgage lender with Happy State Bank. Give a little bit of background about Happy, probably a little bit about products, and then if I'm looking at my phone, it's not because I'm on TikTok and actually my notes are on here. So I didn't want to forget anything. So Happy State Bank, we are a local bank, originated out of Amarillo, the Panhandle area. Happy, actually a town in the Panhandle called Happy. So it's a little town, that's where we started from in 1908. Recently in 2000, they merged with Centennial Bank out of Arkansas. So I was just telling Brian, they went from a $5 billion bank to a $26 billion bank. So just the size and what that allows us to do is a great thing. So there's a lot of stability there, a lot of tenure in the banking industry. So when you work with a local lender like Happy, the one thing I love about it is we all do all of our in-house, underwriting, all that kind of stuff. We have a portfolio. We do conventional FHA, VA, USDA, so all those loans that you typically see we have. But in addition to that, like I said, we have portfolio products. A couple of the products that I brought today we'll talk about are our Happy Home Buyer, which is a zero down product. So if you've got borrowers, it does have income limits. But the great thing about the Happy Home Buyer product is that it can be zero down, qualifying on either the property or the borrower. So if the borrower makes less than 80% of the area median income, meaning their income limits don't go past that, they can qualify. But also if your property is a low to moderate census tract, it can also qualify. So if the property qualifies, your borrower income doesn't matter. So it's a great way to do that. There's some details on here about that program, what that looks like. But if you've got borrowers out there, I know right now with affordability like it is, Tasha had a great comment on a post she did the other day from someone saying, hey, how do I pay rent, pay my bills, and continue to save to buy a house? Well, some of these products, like a zero down program, can really benefit that. Same thing with the health program we'll talk about a little bit. It's up to $20,000 in funds for down payment and closing. Again, there's some income limits in there. So probably not going to be your borrowers that are looking at $600,000 or $700,000 houses, or your first-time home buyers, or your teachers, firefighters, that kind of stuff. These are great products for them as well. So I'll leave all this behind, and then if you have any questions or whatever, just let me know. One of the great things too is I get questions all the time about I-10 borrowers. So those that may be resident aliens or don't have a social security number in the United States, we can actually work with them as well on do I-10 loans, on both of these programs. So that's a great question.
Ryan,
yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. It's okay. What's the down payment? Is it a 20% down or a 10% down?
On Happy Home Buyer, it's 10%.
And the I-10 ones?
Yes, on the I-10. Yeah, on your normal, it's a 0%, but if you're an I-10 borrower, it is 10%.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep. Absolutely. So those are both great as far as DPA programs to kind of help borrowers do that. And really the synergy that I want to talk about a little bit too is the one thing about Happy that I love is that we kind of offer everything that your borrowers are going to need from start to finish. So whether that be, you've got a client that's going to be your first time home buyer, you just as much as Sixth Avenue kind of has all of the things you guys offer, obviously, buy, sell, lease, construction, tools. You've got to run the gamut of being the real estate gurus for your clients. And so you want to have a lender when your client comes to you after they bought their house, says, hey, I need somebody, I want to put in a pool. How do I do that? Well, the great thing that we're about to launch on the 15th of February are HELOC loans. There's going to be a whole suite of products for borrowers being able to use their equity, because that's one of the biggest things right now. Everybody's got a 3% interest rate. They want to put in a pool. They don't want to touch that first lien, maybe doing a cash out refinance. So HELOC can help them do that as well. So that's coming. I'll get some more information to Tasha, Polly, and Brian, and that way you guys can look at that as well, because ultimately, if you're going to offer everything, you want to have a lender that can offer everything too. So from start to finish, like I said, they do their first purchase with you guys, and then when they decide to upsize later on, we can help with that. We can help with refinance. They're going to have those questions about what's the best way for them to utilize the equity in their home, what's the best way for them to upsize, downsize if they need to, whatever that looks like. So I want to help with that as well. Let's see, I can. like I talked about, we do land loans. So if you've got borrowers out there who are looking just for land, we offer a 5-year, it's a 5-year product amortized over 15 years. So the whole intention of that product too is for your borrower to potentially buy the land and within 5 years or even build on it, or they can potentially refinance too. But we get a lot of requests for that because people are like, I want to buy, I found this perfect lot, but I'm not quite ready yet. But kind of in tandem with that, we offer one-time construction close loans as well. So you've got a borrower who wants to, buy, we can help them with the construction loan as well. So we can do 12, 18, or 24-month term. So that's going to be interest only. And then at the end of that, what I love about a one-time close is we do a modification at the end. So your borrower's not paying for a closing on this, the first loan, and then we have a second closing. I've done those before too, but it saves them that money of having to have 2 closings and that kind of thing. We just modify it at the end. So really at the end of the day, I guess the whole point would be you guys offer a lot of different products. You obviously are out there offering things from start to finish. And that's what I want, to kind of leave with you today is that if you've got somebody that they have a question about something, they don't fit in that traditional box of this is, a conventional bar or whatever, we've probably got a product to help them do what they need to do and to buy the house, refinance the house, take equity out of their home, whatever it's going to look like. So, let's see what else. A couple other things I want to talk about is one of the great tools we have at Happy Too is called Simply Happy. It's my app. And so if you're ever interested, my cards are out here on the table. Here's where you can text me. I'll send that to you. It's co-branded. So you can actually send it to your borrower. They apply. And then from start to finish, you as the agent are also going to get updates on what that looks like. So once the appraisal comes in, once we're out of underwriting, what all those touch points are going to be, you're going to get those updates as well. Now you're going to actually hear from me as well, but it's just a great way that the moment something happens, you're going to know what's going on with your borrower. So you can, be in touch with, we need to make repairs on the appraisal, whatever that kind of thing looks like, you're going to get those kind of updates. So it's a great tool for that as well. Let's see. And then I think kind of the last thing, just me personally, I have been doing this over a decade. My biggest thing is I really want to educate borrowers. So many times you get clients I know that they don't know the process, especially if they're a first-time home buyer. So I really want to help you grow your business, be a resource for you, be a resource for your clients so that we educate them on what the right things are. It's not just about getting a home, it's getting them the right house with the right conditions for their finances as well. We want to make sure it's a smart decision. So I'm big on advocacy for education for clients, for talking them through the products, whatever that may be. And then ultimately just, availability. I know that real estate is not necessarily a 9 to 5. In fact, that's furthest from the truth. And even though I've got banker's hours, I'm available evenings, weekends, need a pre-approval, pre-call on Sunday morning. You can call me and ask me and we can get that done.
I
So,
can attest to that.
to what? That's right. Yes, Holly can attest that. It was 9:06 last Sunday. And so on a Sunday, yeah.
No, she's
So-
telling us how to get in your house.
Oh, well, yeah, she'll tell you that too. So, but ultimately, again, I know that's a lot of stuff. I have to take a ton of time, but just kind of remember if we haven't had the chance to work together, we'd love to, have the opportunity to take one of your clients to work with them, work with you and go through the process. And again, my whole goal and job as a lender is to be a resource for you as an agent and help you grow your business. So what do you need? Is it you're an event-driven agent? You do a lot of events. You need a sponsor for that. Do you do a lot of open houses? You want somebody to come, be there to pre-approve barbers on the weekends? Happy to do that as well. So ultimately, I want to help customize what I do to support you all, and that's really the end game. So if that's hey, we go to coffee, or we go to happy hour, whatever your thing is, then let me know. I'd love to help and support you in that way, and then just hopefully build a business together because that's what it's all about. So anyway, that's a lot of information. I know. Any questions, comments? I'm going to leave the 2 flyers about the Happy Home Buyer and the Help Program. Again, great ways to get your first-time home buyers and those that may not have the funds. It's a great way to combine maybe with some seller concessions, something like that, so that your borrower really is not bringing a lot to the table or anything, especially with these two. So,
Ryan, I have a question.
Yeah.
You probably already said it because I was late, but how does that affect their interest rate and how long do they have to keep that loan?
So the Happy Home Buyer doesn't have is going to have a higher interest rate. So, but there's no PMI. So typically it's a little bit of an offset. They're going to pay a little bit more, but it's typically in line with what you see with like TSHAC, like the Texas State Affordable Housing. They're going to have a higher rate too. That's got a 3-year forgivable, so you can't really sell or refinance in that 3 years.
Right.
The Happy Home Buyer doesn't have that.
Okay.
So that kind of is a little more flexibility there as well.
So is it conventional?
It can be conventional. Well, it's a portfolio product. So
Okay.
it's not really conventional or FHA. We keep it in-house.
So it never
So
has PMI.
it never has PMI. So, and then the health program, it does have a 5-year forgiveness period that they have to be in the house on the health program. So something to think about too.
So on the first one, then how does that work? Like, with FHA, we're always finding that you need these repairs. So how does that work with that?
So we're gonna, if this comes back, because it's portfolio, if the appraiser calls out something on the appraisal that we need to have repaired, we're gonna still need that to be repaired on this product as well. It's gonna be subject to anything that's gonna come back on the appraisal. So if your appraisal is as is, we're in good shape. It comes back, hey, subject to, we're gonna still require those repairs to have to be done. But I think the difference is going to be that you're not going to have an FHA appraiser, because I have one right now out there going, oh my gosh, I see chipping paint, because it's not FHA loan. They're not trying to, they're going to be doing this appraisal a lot more like they are a conventional appraisal than they are FHA. Good question. That I see what you're doing with, but they're not going to be trying to point out, chipping paint, because the whole lid-based concern. So you're probably not going to have those type constraints. Yeah.
I do have one question on the forgiveness for the 5-year thing. What do they have to do? Like, what are the ramifications, like, if you before that 5 year?
They would have to pay it back.
Yeah,
So you just have to kind of work it out. And that's one of those things too, with that or T-Shack. Yeah. Yeah, that or T-Shack. I mean, that's one of the biggest things I always tell people, hey, this is the thing you want to be aware of. Does this fit within your plan? And a lot happens. I
It
mean,
does.
things happen, you don't know. But it's one of those things you kind of, I always make sure they know what that looks like, because you don't want to get down the road and then have that. But to your point, if you're selling it, hopefully you can work that out with yourselves and get proceeds.
It's just something I would definitely have conversation
Oh,
with
yeah.
your buyer about. I mean, I know he's going to as well, but
Yeah.
as a realtor, I would want to have that conversation. Hey, you're doing this loan product, great, but FYI, if
Because I don't want barbers coming back, 2 years later calling me going, you didn't tell me this. That's the worst, worst possible
Yeah.
scenario. So, but again, great things there. We do jumbo loans, got a great jumbo portfolio. So ultimately, at the end of the day, if you need something, we probably have it. And so, reach out to me. I'd love to help customize whatever that looks like for you as an agent, and just be there as a resource to help. So.
How far will y'all lend on? Will y'all lend throughout the state of Texas or just DFW?
So the portfolio, we can lend anywhere in Texas.
Okay.
Actually, we lend anywhere in Texas, Arkansas, and Florida.
Okay.
That's when we're giving portfolio. So that would be
Yeah.
like land loans, that would be like the happy home,
Okay.
that kind of thing. If you're talking conventional FHA, VA,
Uh-huh.
it's all 50 states.
Okay, great.
So, yeah. So if you got somebody moving out, moving in, whatever, we can help with that. So, yeah. Portfolio is just limited to basically Texas.
Okay, no worries.
Thank you, Ryan. For
Yeah,
that's
number one,
really
thank you for bringing
Yeah,
breakfast.
of
Number
course,
two,
yes, enjoy.
thank you for the great information.
Yeah.
Ryan, let's just business cards
Yep.
right here too, so y'all can grab those and throw them in your phone when we get done with you.
Absolutely.
So,
All
hey,
right.
thanks
Thank you all so much.
Good to see you.
Everybody have a great day.
you.
See y'all soon.
I'll take these and put these out here for you guys too. Thanks again, Ryan.
you leaving?
Okay, so first things first, let me present my screen. Hello, Miss Megan. We first want to say congratulations to Greg and his wife on the birth last Thursday of Luna Johnson. So congratulations, Greg. Okay. So thanks, Maria. Okay. Go back to this here and go back here. Make sure I got everything I need. Okay. So let's talk about our core value today. Core value, we never bring a problem without bringing and trying at least one possible solution. We are problem solvers, not problem identifiers. We encourage critical thinking and a proactive approach to handling issues. While asking for help is encouraged, it must be done in the context of also thinking of solutions on your own. Before we bring an issue or problem to a team member, we first think of ways to solve it. Suggestions, use your subject matter experts, but when you call, have at least one solution before you call them so that you guys can talk about it and say, that's the question I'm usually going to ask you. If you call me and say, Brian, I have this issue, hopefully I will say, what do you think we should do? Because I want to know what your solution is, and then I may have something different or some advice for something different. Jimmy will probably do the exact same thing. Do what? Okay, announcements. 100 Days of Greatness. Wednesday, 12:30. Yay. So excited? Okay.
Enough? Did you get?
We have 5 people. John and Becca are joining us from Bell County, and Mariah and Aaron. There she is. and Joanna. So we've got 5 people going to do it. So we'll be here every Wednesday, 12:30 to 2:30-ish for the first couple of weeks. And then, of course, it kind of shortens up as we get further into the class. I put out a thing on Slack and an email about name badges and signs. We're doing sign order today. So if you want to sign, today would be the day that you need to tell me. We now
Is
have,
an email okay?
I'm sorry?
Is an email okay to send you?
Yes, an email is fine or text. This is the sign. This is the new logo sign that we're using. And we've got Lake Signs by Tomorrow and Lake Worth is doing this. This one has the generic number. Just so you guys know, if it has a generic number and it comes and somebody calls the office and it's for you as the listing agent, we transfer that directly to you. Usually what happens is they leave a voicemail because I don't answer the phone when they call that number. They leave a voicemail and I send you an email with the voicemail that you can listen to. So that's how that works. But we do have 11 people now, and if Maria orders, we'll have 12 or so. It's about $150 for that entire thing. You get the frame, the panel, and the rider. We can personalize the rider. I can put your name and your phone number down on it. I can do pretty much what you want done on that, as long as it'll fit. It's small and it needs to be big enough for people to see. So just to let y'all know those are there. Secondly, name badges. I did have one person reach out to me for name badges. I didn't wear mine today because I forgot and I'm going to the hospital later. So name badges, if you want one, I can show you the designs that we have with our logos, the new 2023, 24 logos that have like the pretty 6th Avenue blue. We have those. We have blue badges, silver. Like there's several choices there. Okay, let's talk about the market real briefly, not quickly, but briefly. So market rates, interest rates are running about 6.5% is what I'm seeing. Are y'all seeing the same thing? I saw one of y'all shared a story about somebody buying it down to 3 something.
Oh, I
4?
saw that.
That was assumable.
Assumable. Oh, okay, so they just didn't assume. They bought the assumed. Okay. Well, that's not really a story.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a story.
It was clickbait, I think, just from whatever news.
Okay. Well, I mean, and that's something that we probably should start getting comfortable or familiar with is that people that had those 4, 5, 4s and 3s and 4s, some of those were assumable. And so it's something we could do.
And just
Yeah.
fun fact, you do not have to be a veteran to assume a VA loan.
Right. Yeah.
It does, if the veteran doesn't have enough eligibility to buy their new house, they may not allow it because it does take from their eligibility numbers. But just like if you see that, you're like, oh, well, they're not a veteran. It doesn't matter, assuming they don't need the money to buy their next property.
That's cool.
Very good.
According to that.
Okay, Tarrant County current actives this morning, there was 3,575 houses for sale in Tarrant County. 750 of those are builders. Okay,
That again?
I'm sorry,
Say it again.
3,575 and 750 of them are builders. So we've got about 2,750-ish houses for sale in Tarrant County. Numbers. I'm sorry, where'd it go? And Fort Worth, median is down 4.3% on sales price. Listings are up 1.4% year over year. Closed sales are down 12.6% year over year. That's understandable after what we just came through with the 8% interest rates. Are you coming back in? Good. We have 2.3 months of inventory at the end of December, and that's up from 2.1 in December of 2022. Now walk in here.
That's like, well, and I can't-
Oh, I'll knock it over. Okay, thank you. In Tarrant County, the median is down 3.4% year over year. Actives are up 5.3% year over year. Closed sales are down 8.2%. That's all of Tarrant County. We have 2.3 months of inventory. It was 2 months of inventory in December of 2022. That's the latest numbers we have because January hasn't been calculated yet. We'll do that in March. So we're a month behind, but that's all we can really do. Parker County, median is down 2.3%. Actives are up 14.1%. Closed sales are down 13%. So we're down almost the exact same as the actives are up. You guys have 4.6 months of inventory at this point. end of December, and December of 22, you have 3.5. January recap for 6th Ave. We had Bell County. Becca had a sale, so she's not on here, but John, tell Becca we said congratulations. Fort Worth, we had 10 sales. Megan Hutchins had one. Elizabeth had one. Jana had two. Ray had one. Megan had one. I saw Megan jump on, so congratulations, Megan. Mariah had a closing. Maria Gonzalez had a closing. Jimmy had one.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
Look out.
not to brag. No, it's for Lauren, our construction director.
Okay.
And so Lauren was buying a house, and so I was like, I'll just do it we used all my commissions to use it as a leverage. So I'm not like making money over here. But it's pretty exciting. So
Doors fighting me today, guys. Okay. I don't know if you guys do y'all get the DR Horton First Texas Home stuff? Do y'all get all those? Okay, making sure.
Whenever you send them out, it makes us sign into the new home search.
It does. Okay,
Because
so
I've tried to click it a handful of times and I'm like, I'm not gonna fight it. But I don't know if there's like an easier way to.
well, you get the email with all the stuff in there.
Are there attachments at the bottom?
No,
It's just like, there's like three and then there's three and then.
it's a bunch. It should be a list of homes of what's available in that email. That
I'll
I'm
show
sending
you what I'm getting at.
Okay, that sounds good. DR Horton running 3% plus a $3,000 bonus, 10K towards closing costs for buyers with DHI Mortgage. I thought the biggest part was that they're offering 4.99% on FHA and 5.5% conventional. So they're buying the rates down for their buyers, which makes complete sense because that's what we're seeing in the regular market as well. Is
Stream makers doing 4.99 also.
And Meredith Home is offering 6% for the buyer agent commission.
And
Who is?
25,000 included.
Meredith
okay.
out
So
in.
have you guys, like, whenever they do offer those deals, does anyone done like a 3 or 4 round post of like socials, like advertising that? By any chance?
I do a lot for builders.
How does that work?
I'm
how's that
going
working?
to start.
Yeah.
The problem is they changed their promos so much.
Sorry,
Sorry.
finish you.
I was just saying they change their promotions monthly
Uh-huh.
usually.
Uh-huh,
And so that's the only thing. And
It's
it's like,
hard
you've
to-
got to do it
okay.
probably in like a week,
Uh-huh.
which I don't know if that's far enough apart.
Mariah, how's your experience?
The most views I've ever gotten on a reel was one that I went out to LGI
Yeah,
and talked about what they were offering.
yeah.
And I didn't post like 3 or 4 different things. It was one reel.
Okay.
And I got, 4,000 people looked at it. So
Wow.
I would be curious if now, granted, if they're changing them every month, then yeah, that's
They're
really.
very similar though.
Yeah, I mean,
Month to
you
month.
could-
I mean, it's
they
not
are,
good,
yeah.
it's very, very.
I mean, and you could probably be like, hey, somebody came in specifically for this and more
They
likely
may
than
not.
not, they'll allow it. But
I would be curious to do like a two or three posts and boost it, like boost one.
Mhm.
I'd be curious to see how that works. And I'd like, if maybe we can, if anybody's interested in doing that, come talk to me after this. I'd be interested in like helping out with that, just to experiment.
That's honestly what I've been marketing the most
Yeah,
with builders, because they're still giving the incentives, they're still offering their lower rates and things like that. And I feel like that's probably best for people.
to get you, buyers interested. I mean, that's,
And there's still 20% of the
Is it
market
like-
in
yes.
Tarrant County actives.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a buyer right now that won't even look at resale because of the incentives that new builders are buying.
Mhm.
Somebody back there had something?
It's like, Meritage, who have I been dealing with? I mean, I sell a lot of Hortons, but, Meritage, I mean, some of them are running like 3.99% interest.
Buying it down.
I had a client, they're closing next week and it's 3.85. They got 3.8, it's a buy down, so it's
Yeah.
3.
Is it 321?
Yeah.
Okay,
So but their first year is 3.85.
okay.
They got 20,000 towards closing and 3% plus 5,000 bonus.
Is that Highland?
Island and Bridgewater, I don't know if y'all, I'm in the, yeah, but they started like for a Highland house for 4.
Yeah.
Nice houses.
Okay. I want to hit a couple more things and then we're going to have a discussion. We can talk some more about this too. Clear cooperation policy. I need to hit this again so that everybody clearly understands that if somebody, you don't have to be reported by like a board member, like any agent can report another agent. And once it goes to committee, then it's a pretty hefty fine for the clear cooperation policy violation. So here's a violation. If you post on Thursday of something on Facebook or anything that's outside of this office, you can advertise to your office as much as you want in advance. But if you go out and take pictures and put on MLS and say, this one's coming soon, and it's not in MLS the next business day, you are in violation of the policy. One day, one business day. My trick, my workaround, I go on Friday and I do all those videos that y'all see sometimes. Probably none of y'all see them, but anyway.
How we do?
I do a walkthrough or I do a reel or whatever. I do it on Friday and we go on the market Monday because that's the next business day. That gives me time personally. I go do my videos, I do my pictures, and that gives me the weekend to get the MLS printout looking correct, number one. Number two, I can get all the pictures done, the videos done, and then by Monday, everything's ready to go and go active on MLS. But I'm still hearing, I still see people, friends of mine on Facebook that'll post and say, this one's coming soon. And I'll mark it and I'll go look at MLS and they're not on the market the next day.
But they're advertising the address and everything?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Oh,
really.
yeah.
No, it's pictures. It's not advertising address. If you market a house and say, this one's coming soon, you could be in what's the word? Violation.
If they don't have an address, so they just put a picture and said, look what's coming up.
Look at this coming
This
soon.
happens all the time.
It does.
Yeah, I do that.
All the time.
Every
does.
time I
Some people don't do it. Are you telling us to tattle on people? I'm just.
No, I'm not. I'm not a tattler. I'm not.
saying,
I think it's an unfair advantage because I have buyers that might want those houses and they will put them on MLS and then they probably are talking to their buddies and I don't even know what they're doing. Like, how do I even get into those stupid houses? It's frustrating.
Well, that's, I guess.
That's the point. Now,
Yeah.
as a caveat, it can be coming soon in MLS.
Right. No, they're not.
And it
Okay.
can be coming soon for what? 2 weeks?
30 days.
30 days. Huh?
30 days coming soon. So if you have a listing agreement that says we're going to start marketing or put it as coming soon, and you just write that in special provisions of your listing agreement, and we have a copy of that, you're not in violation. I've got something I can take to the board and say, nope, this is it. That makes sense? Okay. So I still see people, all friends of mine from all over the Metroplex doing that same thing. And then they're breaking the clear cooperation policy
Is that Texas-wide?
nationwide. That's
we're gonna put them out
NAR.
of business, guys.
Do what?
So we're gonna put them out of business.
No.
Not everybody, right?
But
One-
the seller can advertise their own home, right? You can tell the seller.
You do whatever you want, but if you as a license holder, you can. That's the thing.
So they can use your pictures that you had taken and they can start posting on groups and stuff.
They can do whatever the heck they want to do. It's their house. They don't have to sell it. They don't have to do anything. They can do whatever they want, but you can't. One other thing is we found this out recently. If your license is coming due, please take care of your classes in advance and make sure that you go through trek.texas.gov, blah, 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 all those numbers, sign in and do your license. Try to do it 10 days in advance. Mine's coming up at the end of March. So I did it last week. I'm that kind of guy. But you can do it 60 days in advance and it counts. So like I'm renewed till 26, but you please do it at least 10 days in advance because once you go inactive, then you have to go back through the process of having to go back
And
active.
submit when you go to.
I did it like
Design.
3 days ahead of time and I got inactive and I had to pay money. So,
Really?
Yeah.
So once you go in, they will take you immediately to inactive once your license expires.
It doesn't matter if it's like they're just being slow.
No,
It doesn't matter.
there's a website that I can give you guys if you wanted to see it, but they tell you what day they're working on renewals for. They're usually about 5 to 7 days behind. Working on
I don't know
renewals.
about the legal one too, how often and when ours is up. Like, is every 2 years?
Every 2 years. So you have to have okay, so I'm going to talk about CE. So if you're,
Yeah.
Aaron, you be the only SAE person in here right now. Everybody else is CE. You got to have 4 hours of legal 1, 4 hours of legal 2, 3 hours of contract, something to do with contracts, and then you have to have 7 hours of electives.
And then ethics now.
Yeah, they have.
Ethics.
3 hours.
Yeah. So all of that must be done. It's 18 hours You can go to the CE Shop, Aceable, any of those places, and they'll sell you all of it for
I just got a really,
$50.
I can't remember what but it was on discount.
I put something on Slack that they're offering a 30% discount for Valentine's Day. So that's through Metrotex, but you guys can use that code to get that discount if you need classes. Okay, let me make sure that I hit all my notes. That's everything. So let's go back and talk about what's going on in the market. What is something that we need to be discussing as an office at our masterminds? I've got Jana coming on the 28th, on February 28th. I'm going to do mine at some point, but mine's much more detailed. What Jana's it? What are you laughing at me?
That doesn't
I love
surprise
you so
anybody.
much. Like, I do. I love your system so much. And I just wish I could be that person.
I know. So you saw that how you are. Like, we all can't.
Like,
I aspire
Yeah,
to be able to fill that out.
Do what now?
I said I aspire to be able to fill out that spreadsheet.
Yeah.
I aspire to be able to read it.
But I will say, when Grant called me from Susan's house,
Forget
last week,
fill it
I
out.
was like, I feel like it's 700, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're right." And I was like, "I just have to put my finger in there."
Well, I'm going to do my listing presentation is about an hour and 20 minutes long or so. When I go through all of the numbers and I go through the breakdown, just like I do with you guys, but then I do a lot more stuff. And something that Jimmy and I are working on is we're going to get you guys like a small little buyer packet of the things that you must, from Sixth Avenue's perspective, that you must have people sign and fill out. And we're going to do on the buyer side and the listing side. So that's something that Jimmy and I are working on. Hopefully going to have that out probably by the end of the first quarter, March, I'm hoping.
It'll be basically a digital packet that you can print out if you want, like, and you can physically print out, you can like make a booklet however you want to, but it'll be a nice PDF that you can print out and use. It'll be designed, curated Sixth Ave-ish. So, with like our branding and stuff like that. So the idea is just like, you don't have to think. It's like, you obviously include your own comps and your own whatever you're going to, but we'll have like placeholders of like, this is where you put your own comps and so other stuff like that. So, but just kind of try to make it something that you can just easily print out. Or if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm running late, I totally forgot, you can just pull it up on our website, here's our packet, and just walk through it on your computer. So something that you
Or
always have on
iPad.
hand. Yeah, or iPad, whatever.
So Jamie wants me to show this to you. Okay, so ignore the big red and white balloon. Okay. So this was sent to you.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get us to go to Remaxes. That's the bottom line, is they want Sixth Avenue to, they send him stuff once a quarter.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
To try to get us to be a Remax affiliate.
Tell them they have to take us on a really nice vacation first.
Yeah.
And then-
Well, look,
Yearly.
Yeah.
Yearly.
so, but check this out.
I've seen that.
In today's complex market, you might be looking ahead and thinking about what's next for your company's future.
Oh, not that.
Great things come from being curious about possibilities when great opportunity exists.
There's a webcam on there that they watch your reaction.
Yeah.
I watch
Did you
yours
link yourself
now.
to Wi-Fi? Is that what it is?
No.
Oh,
It's
just-
just it automatically like, it's crazy.
I'm just looking for like folders.
I know. Jamie said that you can get these for about 15, 18 bucks. if you buy them.
Uh-uh. We saw those somewhere, but you can get those little things. I have them in my bag over there by Jimmy. They're little things that you can record a video on and put them like in a thank you note if you wanted to like send something to follow up like that. I haven't ever used them, but.
I mean, for the cost that came in at, we were looking at bulk orders and stuff just because, like, what if you send it to all your VIPs and it's like 100 of them? It's like for $1,500. That's what I'm obviously probably not agents, but I'm like, man. But just anyways, the technology is just like,
Wow.
holy crap! It's like crazy for like $18. That's not like a like if you're like, I don't know how you would use them as agents, but that was something that was solid. Just cool. We gotta be on top of this.
No, I saw it at one of the listing. I visited.
Oh,
They
really?
put it out and you could watch the video.
Okay.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, something I've been talking to my people about is, and we've said this a couple of weeks in a row, but okay, so 5s and 6s interest rates, that's normal.
Yeah.
That's what our real estate market really is used to. If you go back and look 2019 and back, 5s and 6s were completely normal. And I think the more that we have the conversation with our buyers that the 3s and 4s was an artificial deflation, if you will, from the government.
Yep.
That don't sit around and expect that to happen. The smart people are making their moves right now, because right now, before any more interest rate adjustments, is the time to be doing something with your real estate. If you're buying, selling, I love some of the programs that Ryan brought in. I wish I knew he had those. Now I do, but I'm still looking. I've got people still doing that buy now, sell later program. I don't know if you guys know about that. I think I've told y'all about it enough. I hate harping on the same thing. So, but just know that it's there. For some people, it's going to work. Some people it won't. So what are you seeing in the market? Somebody tell me.
I will just full disclosure, it's kind of embarrassing, but when we got our loan in 2013, it was 7.1 because the credit wasn't great, but like still it was 7.1. I tell everybody that point, and that was the norm. Like it wasn't crazy. So that's why we're telling all my buyers like, y'all are in a spot like this is just life. This is what it is.
Well, like in 2008, like whenever everything crashed, right? And mortgage rates just, they obviously it didn't plummet right away, but mortgage rates had to plummet because of the economy. But like the best rate you're getting at the time is like 5.0, 5.5 flat, 5.25, 4.75 maybe if you bought it down. But like, so think about the worst prices that we've all experienced, in our age group. It's like the interest rate was 5, it's like, so if you think about that and put it in perspective, and if we didn't have that bad of economic crash, like from COVID, it was, like Brian said, a government push to boost the economy. And so it was deflated numbers on purpose. And so it wasn't realistic at all. So for those of you that got it, like I got it, but like I got lucky. We all got lucky. So at 5 is like, would be crazy low if we hit 5. So that's a good reminder too.
I was gonna say for me, like when the rates in December, when they started to come down, I had so many buyers reach out to me. I have like 5 people I've been talking to for like the past month or 2, but then they like have halted again. And I'm like, oh. And one of them like, this does not make sense for you not to do this. Like they were getting the 0% down, not the Ryan, but through a builder. They were getting 0% down and they were getting $20,000 instead of getting like $10K off the house, and they still, and I'm like, please listen to what I'm saying. And they still, so that's kind of what I'm seeing. Like people got excited because those rates started to come down, but then they're still like hesitating.
Or they're taking a couple of days to think about it and it's gone like that. That's happened to me a few times just this week.
Absolutely.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm listening to your numbers about like these markets that are changing over to fire markets in Parker County, but I've been in 2 different multiple offer situations with fire that chickened out, like what she said. But I was talking to a lender yesterday at an event, or it wasn't an event, but it was a thing. And he was telling me that, and so he was telling me, and I want this is interesting to you, I'm a huge numbers person, I'm a numbers nerd. He said the estimated like increase in housing prices is 14% nationwide in the rest of the second half of the year. He said, but Texas is one of those that like everyone wants to move to. So if you think about 14% nationwide increase in house prices or list prices, whatever, purchase prices, then what is that going to mean for Texas? He said even more. So whenever you're talking to your buyers who are like, I don't want to be in a multiple offer situation. Okay, well, do you want to pay 20% more for this house for real in a few months? That's your options. And the interest rate is not going to go down to freaking 4%. So you can sit all you want, but if you have to live somewhere or if you are tired of renting, like I've got a guy moving here from Florida, he has to be on the job by May 1st. We've been looking for houses for him for a solid 8 months.
Oh my God.
He was in a multiple offer situation, chickened out. Now he's flying in this weekend and I'm pretty sure he has to make a decision. He lost the dream home. Sorry about you. But that's my point is like, if we allow them to just sit around and not know the facts, not know the statistics because they're not facts, then they're going to end up in a situation where they're going to have to pay over anyway. And just like we were in 2022, everybody was paying $100,000 over asking price. What's and paying 6.5% interest and $100,000 over asking price in the beginning. So
absolutely.
And I have buyers that are saying, well, am I going to have equity? No.
Not starting off.
Welcome to reality.
Yeah.
You're not. But I mean, sure, you might have a little bit, but are you gonna be able to stick a sign out in the front yard and sell it tomorrow? No.
But give it a year.
Right.
That would be my
Time
advice.
or, update, sweat equity,
Yeah.
things like that, maybe, but not immediately. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think that I don't think the general public knows anything. I mean, with the high interest rates, I don't think they know that they're capable of a refinance or a recast, whatever you want to call it, in the next 24 months. Because when I have that conversation with buyers, they're like, oh, I didn't know that.
And again, a
Unlike
lot of
here,
them-
you go buy a new build,
Yeah.
you get incentives, you get a decent rate. Now, I don't know about the new builds and as far as the rates now, because like Horton offers 5%. What was it, Trophy Signature, Holly, that was offering 4% or whatever. So I'm not sure a refinance will be to be able to play into new construction with those type of interest rates, but
Well, especially if you're using their preferred lender, but if you're using somebody like Ryan or like Sean, Russell, these private individuals, lenders, they're going to be doing free refis for people that bought when they were 7.5%.
well, and trying to explain to buyers like what is the advantage to the bank or the lending entity or servicer, why they are going to extend that to people.
Yeah.
Like I try to educate them beyond like they're building real estate portfolios. They don't want those loans taken out of here in 24 months. So
Right.
that actually will create more wealth for them.
Okay. Anybody seeing like, okay, so we've talked about multiple offers. We talked about interest rate. Are you seeing seller incentives?
Yes.
Are you getting them for people? Are you asking for them?
I see them advertising them on MLS. A
Mhm.
lot of the
I just
houses
saw
were
one.
saying, the sellers are gonna offer this, 5,000, 10,000.
Well, I saw one of my friends posted offering $3,000 in seller concessions. I'm like, oh, come on, really?
Yeah.
Give me 10.
Be better.
Give me 10.
Be competitive.
Be real.
Another thing that came up the other day, Angela asked Holly and I, which was a good question because I've dealt with this question before. As far as when you are talking about multiple offers, a lot of other states will allow you to write
Escalation.
escalation clauses. Texas does not really allow you to do that unless you consult an attorney to do that. And I know that a lot of my out-of-state buyers, when they've been in multiple offer situations, have said, hey, well, can we write an escalation clause? And I, of course, stumbled over it one time being like, well, maybe, I don't know. And then, of course, talked to JC and he's like, nope, only I should do that. And I'm not going to do that. So I think that's one of those things, just educate yourself about that appraisal addendum right now, because it's probably going to be used more often than we've used it in 18 months. Make sure you know what option 1, 2, and 3 mean.
And we always have to reread it like 5 times.
Yeah.
I wrote that up a document. And then I was where people can end up.
I
know.
I can explain it pretty quickly.
And I was
We have the video we sent, but it's still, yeah.
Okay,
what's
so
the- sorry, what's the code that received multiple offers?
Yeah, well,
Because I've had listings still sitting.
I think if they're cities are probably not gonna get offered, the ones that are not sitting, I saw one in Weatherford ISD, 490,000. I saw one in Toledo, $830,000 ranch. Both of those had multiple offer situations.
And I've seen in Bell County too, one of our agents this week said she was in a multiple offer situation, so she's.
Here.
No, I'm gonna bounce him, so I was just cutting it out of the way. Yeah, we had him down there too, so I think it's
Are you
just,
considering investor offers as multiple offers?
just anytime a
no,
listing
anytime.
agent comes back and says, hey, we have multiple offers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
as a listing agent, if I get 2 investors,
Multiple offers.
For like my listing that I just had to take off, we had 8 investor offers,
But they were super
all
low.
super duper
Well,
low.
but as a buyer's agent, they're not gonna tell me whether they were ridiculous.
Oh, I
offers or
did
not.
not. I did
So,
not.
yeah,
I told everybody we had multiple offers, but I'm like, but we didn't have a single one that was worth our second look at.
I've had some people tell me we had multiple offers, but we chose not to accept any of those. Bring your offers, so then you know what they were. But I've had the other.
that's really good.
Yeah.
So on the escalation clause, while I got it pulled up, because it took me a second, JC Johnson, my friend attorney, I cannot recommend an escalation clause. If you put in the needed protections, it is meaningless. If not, I simply believe it to be too high as to general risk and too available to fraud.
Mhm.
So escalation clauses, meaning.
I don't think people understand what it is.
Yeah.
It's like you're gonna be putting yourself in a position where you may pay way more than you
See, and I will say, so I don't know if this is a Texas thing or if it's a Metris thing, because when I was when I first started in Bell County, we were using them a lot and we were trained on how to use them and nobody was taking them back. And so there is a way to protect your buyer from it and do it successfully. But again, here, the first time I did it, they kicked it back. So do you know if it's statewide or is it?
He's it's statewide. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that.
I mean, Amber's correct. There's a video. I mean, I sent it to Angela, like explaining why we don't, because basically when you are writing an escalation clause, you are basically giving legal advice and you are not an attorney.
Yeah. If you-
So I'm a super dork, I know, but I got frustrated in the multiple offer game a couple of years back using the appraisal addendum and trying to explain clearly to clients what they were getting themselves into. So I got to be a big old dork and I would send them the video. It's like a 3-minute video from Trek explaining exactly what that addendum means so that they could hear it from,
an attorney
top,
or somebody.
right, from the top. And two, it's just if we ever got to a situation where they're like, oh, I didn't understand that I had to bring X amount of dollars. It's like, well, send you that video. And I usually will, and I would follow up. I would be like, did you watch the video? Do you have any concerns? Did you understand? You chose option 2 or whatever is ABC, I can't remember. And I would have that in my text messages. So it's like, oh no,
Yeah.
you did know.
Back to your question, I think that the multiple offers, the buyer demand is super specific to neighborhoods.
Yeah, for real.
Okay,
Yeah.
super specific. For instance, I know that you had the problem with the one that you have. I've got the house in Joshua. I've had 2 showings on. I've had the one in Heritage, the Bluffs, 5 showings, but it's just that everything's really slow there. So what I suggest that you do for those situations is create a search for that neighborhood, for that area, be specific, put it on your start page and go look at it every day. Because what I'm doing, I'll show you real quick in my MLS so you can see what I'm doing. Let me broadcast this to everybody so y'all can see it. And online people, I'm going to go to y'all in just a second and see if y'all have any comments. So bear with me just a second. Okay, so on my home screen, see my favorite searches right here. So I've got Tarrant County active, and so I keep that one up there, and that way I can look and see it's gone down 50 since I took those numbers at 9:45. We lost 50 houses to the market in Tarrant County in the last hour.
Does that mean they went under market
Or cancel contract or cancel or anything?
Anything, they lost active status. They went to something else.
I think too, the stat you brought up is that like the closed numbers are so down.
Yeah.
Like
People are backing out.
people are backing out, people are firing agents. I mean, I'm picking up a listing this week that it was like they had another agent, they didn't feel like he was doing a job
Mhm.
and they're trying again. And I
Can you
think
expound on that? What did they say the agent wasn't doing?
They
What I'm
just-
seeing is over inflated the pricing on houses and then
Mhm.
sitting on the market.
so. I think that's part of it. But like, so for example, this is, I don't know if you remember last spring, the new build that I had in the north side. So it's that same builder. They gave another agent the next listing and, not having neighborhood, I guess, knowledge. Like he wasn't local to Fort Worth. He just kind of like, he pawned the listing off on his wife. Like it was just not like, he was not giving it the care and attention that it deserved because yes, it is going to be one of the higher price per square foot homes in the north side. And that requires a specific knowledge, but,
Let me show you guys this real quick. So like, use your favorite searches. You can have 10 searches there. So put your listings there, create a search and save it. When you go to save the search, you'll get the option to check that box, put it up there. This is that house in Keller, Fort Worth. And it shows me that there's just nothing going on in that subdivision. The only thing,
Just the subdivision?
well, this is my hip. This is just Heritage and I'm looking at specific square footages. So now if I were to go look at different square
Right.
footages, it'd be a completely different market.
So it's mostly just looking at comps and things.
I'm looking at the comps of where this house to everything that's around it. So plus or minus 20%,
Yeah.
plus or minus 7 or 8, maybe 10 years of build time. But in master plan subdivisions, they're all going to be pretty similar anyway,
Right.
unless they're doing multiple phases like for us, Woodland Springs in Keller,
Right.
where they had 9 different editions. But that just tells you, and then and then I'm watching our competition. This house is 110 square foot smaller, but it's the same house, exactly the same house. But they're still at 649 and we're at 629, and they just dropped $20,000. So I'm watching those things, and I've already had a conversation with my clients on what's today, Wednesday, Tuesday. I said, hey, our competition on Sam Bass dropped 20K this week. If we don't see showings pick up by Thursday, I'm going to be getting in touch with you. We're going to need to drop it down a little bit. This house is probably worth 650-ish in a good market where people are out buying, but the condition makes it much less. So those are things you have to take into consideration. And we've had showings.
So what do you have your search set to? Just the neighborhood?
Okay, so this one in particular, let me go down here and I'll show you my criteria. Okay, so I'm looking at everything under 700 because in that particular neighborhood, Danielle, the Bluffs, you'll get some houses that are above that 700 price point.
Right.
This one is not, and it backs up to Heritage Trace.
Okay.
Okay, so there, then I'm looking at plus a 3,000 square foot plus, and then I'm looking at a build year, and then I'm only looking at the last 30 days.
Okay.
So I'm being hyper local, hyper focused on what is going on that neighborhood. And then I watch all of my listings and everything else that I'm watching in my favorite searches, and they change out quite often. I change those searches out because like the house I had in Ridgely Hills for Lauren's house. So like, let me go back to here. Let me go back here, and I'm still watching that neighborhood, but look at what's going on. I mean, this is quite a bit bigger of a market, but look at the active options and the pendings. And so, but look at the price point too.
Yeah.
That's a major difference. So you gotta take all of that into consideration. And if you're looking only at one thing and you're not looking at the whole market, then you're missing something. And so, does that help?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's helpful.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I was using, so this is great. I'm definitely gonna start doing this. But showing time sends like a weekly, and that's what I was sending to my seller every week was like, take a look, like average days on market, the neighborhood's gone down, and yours is the lowest price on the market, and yours is
Go to,
and so that was helpful.
I want you to go also to, let me see if I can get back there. Can I get back there? On the main start page to Matrix, there's list track.
Okay.
Go into list track if you've got a listing and sign your seller up for list track. And because it tracks Zillow, Realtor.com, the MLS, it tracks all of it.
See,
And
I was
then-
just going on each individual site, looking at how many people looked at it. And
Yeah.
That's cool that it's all in one spot.
So list track will send that out on, you can pick the day that it goes out, but it
Okay.
sends it out weekly. I have it go out on Monday. That way I can make my contact on Friday and say, hey, here's what I've done this week for you.
Mhm.
Hope you guys have a great weekend. And then on Monday, they get that report. And so they're hearing from me Friday, Monday.
Mhm.
And then if they have any questions, hey, Brian, I saw that report about blah, blah, blah. And then I've got a conversation again,
Yeah,
twice a week,
that's cool.
twice a week. Remember we talked about Jamie wanted to add our new core value of closing the loop.
Mhm.
And so that's why I've been doing that for years.
Mhm.
Another thing that I do, I don't know if you guys do it, but go to hit counters and go in and look at the number of agents that have saved your property as a favorite. And then you email those agents and say, hey, I saw that you got a client that's looking at McBriar Place. Is this a window shopper or is this somebody that you've been working with?
Do you ever have them? Nobody ever emails me back.
I get, every time I send one out, I sent out 4 this week and I got 1 agent to respond.
Okay.
We just started looking, but thank you for reaching out. Immediately I follow up with, thank you for responding to my email.
It's
Yeah,
just like
anytime.
feedback. Most people
Oh,
don't
don't do
feedback
it.
back.
Yeah.
It's
Awful.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Yeah,
I'm like,
feedback.
that's my best. I mean,
And
that's
I
the
didn't
best thing for
follow
a
up.
seller. Yeah, me too.
I think newer agents are like, how do they know that I'm like on there?
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
can't
I will say, I
imagine.
have in the past month or so started looking at those. I used to just delete them because I knew what they were, but now I'm like, oh wait, maybe I missed something because I feel like even though numbers are up, like I still feel like there's nothing on the market.
Well, so I think we got some good, everybody got some good data today?
Yeah.
Good ideas? If you ever want to talk about any of this stuff that I do, I don't mind sharing all of the things that I do. I'm not holding secrets back here, y'all. So I'm happy to help. I don't know everything, but if we don't know something, we'll figure it out. So anybody online, would you guys have any comments or anything? I wanted to give you all the opportunity before we sign off today. No. Okay. I don't see anybody raising a hand or saying hi. Hi, Gabrielle. I didn't see you jump on. Good to see you. Ashley, how are you? Good to see you.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, Brian.
Megan, John, Cherie, thank you guys for joining us. Sorry you missed breakfast, but glad you guys all got to be here with us today. And we'll call it a meeting.
Great.
We also touched this add-on in the next, like,